Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton. I just finished the Netflix anime movie A Whisker Away, which is written by Okada, the same writer who gave us Makia When the Promised Flower Blooms, and stars Mirai Shida, Natsuki Hane, and Koichi Yamadera. Now, when it comes to Okada's writing, her style of emotionally impactful characters and for very relevant themes happens to translate well into both film and TV anime, as seen when she wrote the series O Maidens in Your Savage Season, based on the manga of the same name. And while this movie doesn't exactly reach the same lofty heights as O Maidens or Makia When the Promised Flower Blooms, I do think it's a legitimately good anime film that should ultimately keep you occupied while we're still locked indoors. So let's get to the story, shall we? The story is about a girl named Mio, though she's nicknamed Muge, played by Mirai Shida, who is a girl who is in love with her classmate Hinade, played by Natsuki Hane, who you might remember as Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. He mostly ignores the extremely hyperactive and energetic girl, mainly because he's going through his own issues with his own family. And Muge also has been going through her own issues at home, mainly dealing with her mother abandoning her and leaving her with a stepmother who she definitely doesn't seem to approve of. So, in order to get Hinade's attention, she happens to get a mask from a strange human-sized cat named the Mask Seller, played by Koichi Yamadera, and this mask allows her to transform into a cat. Well, turns out Hinade is really into cats, so this works out well for her. But when she finds out that cats can also turn into humans, and that she might end up losing her human identity after a little while, she has to work hard to make up for her mistakes and to become human again, as she happens to follow the Mask Seller into the world of cats. That's all I'll say about the story. But the story itself actually is rather interesting, even if it doesn't make as much use of the fantastical setting that it showed off in the trailers. You see, the world of the cats almost seems like something out of Spirited Away, and I mean that in a good way for Studio Ghibli. There's so much attention to detail and so many interesting designs in that world. It makes me sort of disappointed that you only get to see that part of the film for basically the last act, for the last 30 minutes of the film. Most of it is spent in the real world and in modern day Japan, but to be fair, that is where the majority of the emotional moments are centered, and it does allow Muge and Hinode to develop quite well. And Mirai Shida and Natsuki Hane do very well with their vocal performances, as expected from their previous roles. They share a very natural chemistry with each other, and whether Muge is a cat named Taro or in her normal human form, you get the sense that while she can come across as annoying for those who don't understand her, she still comes off as likable mainly because of the actress who's portraying her. Natsuki Hanae, on the other hand, I think was born to play characters like this. Characters who have that emotional depth to them, but also a clear kindness that makes them extremely likable to most audiences. It worked well when he played Tanjiro, and it works very well here with Hinode. Koichi Yamadera also does very well as the Mask Seller, as he manages to portray both a menacing air to his character as well as some comedy that doesn't feel out of place. Mainly because he's given a very cartoonish design, so it's able to be both cartoony and menacing somehow. Plus, Okada's writing does make it so that everything from the normal human interactions to the focus to a supernatural world feels natural, and it doesn't feel forced in just for the sake of a gimmick. Probably because she's also worked on a fantasy film before in Makia. But I do feel that Makia handled its themes and its fantasy setting a bit better than this film did. Because with Makia, it definitely felt like a world that was entirely of its own, where it took tropes that we associate with anime fantasy films and still made them feel unique and their own thing. Here, it definitely feels like a mix of Mario Okada's previous works and a little bit of Spirited Away from Studio Ghibli. That's not to say that it's a bad thing, it's more that it doesn't feel as original and not as stunning. But the visuals definitely do help with the overall entertainment value, as it works well for the emotional moments as well as the action-packed climax that we get at the end. So while this isn't Mario Okada's best film, Makia still is, in my opinion, I do think she still did a great job writing this one, and that it's a entertaining anime film for those who need one to watch. So I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. See you next time.